Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 19th of May 2026. Now unfortunately, Satoshi, the price of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market has fallen down a lot, and the reason for this is pretty simple. President Donald Trump, he did actually post something really powerful via Truth Social, and looks like he was actually going to attack Iran, but because of requests from leaders in the Middle East, he has decided to go ahead and hold back the attack, but at the same time he's actually put out information regarding Truth Social that the United States of America is not hesitant to go ahead with the war. Now unfortunately, because of this, the prices of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market has fallen down a lot. Now I'm right in saying Satoshi, actually in times such as this, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency should actually pump up, because look, Bitcoin is supposed to be a safe haven against war as well as inflation, isn't it?
George, you've painted a very clear picture of the situation. The recent global tensions and political actions are definitely creating uncertainty in the markets. As you mentioned, Bitcoin is often viewed as a potential safe haven, so its behavior right now counter to that is something to analyze closely as we discuss further. Today, we'll be exploring what these developments might mean for investors, the broader crypto landscape, and the concept of decentralized finance as a protective measure. There's a lot to consider here.
We'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this, and I also want to get your opinion, Satoshi, on how does this drama actually impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now what you mentioned is something really powerful, that news such as this definitely affects investor sentiment, and what has happened unfortunately since the last 24 hours. We are seeing significant amount of outflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and here's the thing guys, ETF related information does give an indication as to what the market sentiment is, and am I right in saying Satoshi, it also gives us some assessment as to which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies should be heading towards.
Those ETF outflows you mentioned are a very significant point, George. They reflect a practical shift in large-scale investor confidence, essentially showing that some players are moving capital away from riskier assets during periods of instability. You're correct in saying that ETF data is a good barometer for market sentiment, offering a real-time view of how institutional and retail investors are reacting to news. This definitely plays into how we might assess the short-term price direction for Bitcoin. It seems like we're watching a tug-of-war between fear and the belief in its long-term value.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. I cannot disagree with you on this. Now, in today's episode, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover. We'll definitely go ahead and talk about President Donald Trump's war update. Iran has also put out something really important in the world of Bitcoin, and this is connected to Straits of Hormuz, and one of the media channels in Iran. They're saying that Iran is working on something called as Hormuz Safe, and essentially it is going to be a Bitcoin-backed insurance. Now look, me personally have a bit of apprehensions regarding this, but in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into final details regarding this. Now the third news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding the Bank of England. And here's the thing guys, the Bank of England along with Financial Conduct Authority, they are working on clarity in the world of tokenization. Now this news, Satoshi, is definitely positive, considering the fact there's so much of hype regarding tokenization, isn't it?
George, those are two very different angles to the story. The potential of a Bitcoin-backed insurance system in Iran related to the Strait of Hormuz is a unique geopolitical development. But your apprehensions are valid. How such a system would be managed and trusted would be crucial. On the other hand, the Bank of England's work on tokenization clarity, alongside the FCA, represents a push for regulatory frameworks in a major financial hub. That kind of support could definitely boost confidence in that area.
We'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. Now the final news, Satoshi, is a bit surprising one, and this is to do with the crime state of Minnesota. And Minnesota guys, they have approved crypto custody for banks as well as credit unions, and one of the failed politicians, that is Tim Walz, he has gone ahead and approved this as well. So really interesting development. So it looks like we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi, we'll be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now both the news are from the Emirate of Dubai. The first one is a massive news, and this is connected to artificial intelligence, and two giant companies, that is Dubai Holdings and Microsoft, they have decided to partner up, and this is to scale AI adoption across operations. So we'll definitely go ahead and delve into final details regarding this. And the second news, Satoshi, is connected to one of the biggest companies called as Liminal, and the news essentially is that they've been granted initial approval from Dubai's VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. So it looks like the Emirate of Dubai is definitely taking the lead in the world of blockchain as well as artificial intelligence, isn't it?
Those are significant updates from Minnesota and Dubai, George. A state approving crypto custody for banks and credit unions is a big step for institutional adoption in the U.S., And the Dubai partnerships with Microsoft and VAR's approval show a strong commitment to AI and blockchain infrastructure in that region. We've definitely got a lot to break down.
Absolutely, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, what is interesting to note. Minnesota is definitely ridden by crime, but this news definitely seems promising, so we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this news. So it looks like we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode, Satoshi. But before we go ahead and kickstart, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it. Be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now, here's the thing, guys. There is significant amount of outflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and because of that, the prices of Bitcoin in the global cryptocurrency market has fallen down a lot. And if you look at the global cryptocurrency market right now, it is at $2.65 trillion. And what is sad and crazy, guys, is that if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume since the last 24 hours, it is only at $47.8 billion, and this represents a 1.60% since the last 24 hours. But here's the thing, guys. One of the metrics that I'm not content with is the volume of decentralized exchange. To date is once again below the $5 billion mark. It is only at $4.59 billion. And if you look at the total fees connected for these transactions, Satoshi, It is down to $56.56 million, and the total value locked once again is on a downtrend. It is pretty much half of what it was in 2025. It is only at $82.47 billion. Now, one matrix Satoshi which I'm definitely not content is the decentralized to centralized exchange ratio. Essentially, this is the dominance, and this is down to 14.25%. This particular matrix is absolutely awful, isn't it? And now am I right in saying Satoshi, decentralized to centralized exchange dominance should be around 60 to 80%, and more importantly, it should be consistent, probably for 6 months or even higher, isn't it?
You've highlighted some critical points about the current market data, George. The drop in total volume and particularly the low DEX volume is concerning, showing a lack of active trading and engagement in decentralized finance. The decline in fees and total value locked also points to reduced utilization and perhaps less trust. Your view that DEX dominance should be consistently higher makes sense. It would indicate a healthier, more sustainable decentralized ecosystem, which we aren't seeing right now. It definitely presents a picture of caution.
As an industry, Satoshi, what is it that we can do in order to go ahead and increase the dominance of decentralized exchange? And I'm talking about things at a macro level. According to me, Satoshi, one move would be a lot of banks having some kind of partnership with the decentralized exchange world, but there is massive area of KYC as well as AML required in that, isn't it?
That's a major point, George. Creating secure and compliant pathways for traditional finance to interact with DEX could bring in substantial volume, but bridging that gap with KYC and AML practices is a significant challenge, given decentralization's core principles. At a macro level, other factors might include improving user experience to attract more mainstream users, enhancing security to prevent hacks, and developing more scalable solutions to handle higher transaction volumes without crazy fees. Regulatory clarity would also help, even if it takes time.
What about user experience, Satoshi? I'm pretty much sure user experience is one of the reasons why people are not using decentralized exchanges, isn't it? Do you think there's room for artificial intelligence to go ahead and make the user experience much better for the users? That would actually motivate a lot of people to go ahead and use decentralized exchange in opposition to, let's say, centralized exchanges, isn't it?
User experience is definitely a hurdle, George. The interface can often be complex and less intuitive than centralized alternatives. There absolutely is room for AI to improve that. AI could personalize the interface, simplify complex processes with smarter guidance, or even help prevent mistakes by analyzing transaction patterns. Making the overall experience smoother could definitely motivate more people to try DEXs over centralized ones.
If there was one feature Satoshi would go ahead and implement over decentralized exchange, I'm talking about using artificial intelligence, what do you think would be the topmost priority? And let's try to focus on user experience.
My top priority using AI, focusing on user experience, would be an intelligent transaction advisor. This feature would analyze the user's proposed trade, checking for things like slippage, gas fees, and even potential risks of the specific token, offering real-time, personalized guidance before they confirm. It would take the guesswork and fear out of the process, making it much safer and more accessible for everyone.
Excellent, thank you so much for that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's quickly run to the volume of decentralized exchanges. Now Uniswap is at number 1 with $1.02 billion. Aerodrome Gas is at number 2, and its volume is slightly above the $500 million mark. It is at $618.29 million. PancakeSwap Gas is at number 3, and its volume is at $530.37 million. Orca is at number 4, and its 24-hour volume is $193.01 million. And finally, at number 5, we have a new one. This is called as Project X5, but its 24-hour volume is below the $200 million mark. It is at $187.66 million. Now here's the thing, guys, since the last 24 hours, the volume of stablecoins has marginally picked up pace, but it is still below what I anticipated it to be. And Tether USDT's volume is at $90.11 billion. Circle USDC's gas is only at $15.10 billion. And at number 3 is FDUSD. Now its 24-hour volume is down to $339.03 million. Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners the market cap of Bitcoin, the 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin and dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum for our listeners, please.
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and do that. Bitcoin's market cap is standing at $1.54 billion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $44.20 billion, giving it a dominance of 58.70%. For Ethereum, the market cap is $257.86 billion. Its 24-hour trading volume is $21.83 billion, and its dominance is at 8.72%.
Thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys. Binance BNB Coin once again is at number 3 with a market cap of $86.94 billion. And if you look at its 24-hour trading volume, it is about the $1 billion mark at $1.49 billion. Now look, Satoshi, whenever there is drastic change, meme coins are the one that gets affected the most. So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the matrix that is connected to meme coin and also tell our listeners once again what are the top 5 platforms so far as meme coins is concerned, please?
Sure, George, let's do that. The total meme market cap is currently at $36 billion, down 1.8% in the last 24 hours. The top 5 platforms as of now by market cap are Dogecoin at $16.18 billion, followed by Memecore at $4.18 billion, then Shiba Inu at $3.38 billion, and Pepe at $1.55 billion, tied with Pump.Fun also at $1.55 billion. It's definitely a volatile sector.
Absolutely, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys. Dogecoin's market cap at one point of time was around the $27 billion mark. So it looks like memecoin definitely has a long way ahead to go. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding Bitcoin? What is going on regarding the price since the last 24 hours and 7 days? And do the same thing for Ethereum and Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Certainly, George. Bitcoin's price is currently at $78,241, seeing a slight dip of 0.03% over the last 24 hours, and is down 2.99% over the last week. Ethereum is trading at $2,188, up 0.32% in 24 hours, though down 5.97% over the last week. Lastly, Binance BNB is at $654, with a slight decrease of 0.30% today, but up 0.35% since last week.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the fear and greed index, unfortunately, right now it is at fear, and the number associated is 39. Now look, guys, politics and politicians, they directly and indirectly impact not just the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, even the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now in today's episode, we have 3 political news to cover. Let's talk about the first and probably the most important person in the world, and this is President Donald Trump. And here's the thing, guys. President Donald Trump posted via Truth Social that the United States of America has paused a planned military strike, and this is connected to Iran. But what is important to note is, he has actually done this on the request of leaders from Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, and President Donald Trump said, guys, serious negotiations are now taking place, and he does actually believe a deal could actually be reached that prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. And he further added that US military has been ordered to stay ready for a large-scale attack, and this could be at absolutely any moment if negotiations fail. So what I'd really recommend our listeners to do is, Satoshi, go ahead and follow President Donald Trump via Truth Social, go ahead and follow Pete Hegseth as well as Marco Rubio, and also the Department of War, and also Centicom. Along with that, guys, make sure you go ahead and follow the President of Iran, the Foreign Minister of Iran, and also the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Now look, Satoshi, am I right in saying if you go ahead and follow these people, you would actually get information from official sources, isn't it? But more importantly, Satoshi, what I want to discuss is, what do you think are the implications because of this news on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and also the global impact, which directly could impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies either in a positive way or in a negative way, Satoshi?
That's a significant update from President Trump, George, indicating both military readiness and serious negotiations aimed at a diplomatic solution. And you're right, political moves like this definitely influence everything from crypto prices to broader adoption. Regarding the implications, this news could have 2 main effects. Positively, the prospect of a peaceful resolution might reduce market volatility and encourage risk on investor behavior, potentially boosting prices. Conversely, the news about paused strikes could also be interpreted as heightened tension, which might drive some investors toward more stable assets, while others look at Bitcoin as that safe haven we discussed, leading to more mixed results. It really depends on how the news unfolds and is integrated into broader sentiment. What's your take on that?
My take is, Satoshi, look, mainstream media, they often put out a completely misleading and fake news, and as much as I dislike saying it, the market does actually react to fake news that is put out by mainstream media, and I'm talking about the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and that is one of the reasons why, Satoshi, often say it is so important to go and look at official sources. But at the same time, we also need to be on board with what mainstream media is saying, because if they go out and create panic, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies does actually react to that panic, isn't it? And notorious traders, whales, institutional investors, they often want to go out and manipulate the market as well, isn't it? So it is a mixture of play that people need to be aware about.
You've described a very dynamic situation, George. There's definitely a balance between seeking official information while also understanding how media narratives, even fake ones, can trigger market reactions and be exploited by major players. It emphasizes the importance of critical thinking and diverse sources when navigating the space. Remaining vigilant is key.
I want to pick your brain, Satoshi. Let's say if you were the personal advisor for President Donald Trump, and keeping in mind what is going on regarding Operation Epic Fury, what advice you'd like to give him? Now here's a bit of twist to it, Satoshi. I want you to go ahead and advise him, keeping in mind the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and potentially the impact of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies only. Let's see what advice you'd like to give him.
As an advisor focused on the potential impact on the Bitcoin and crypto markets, I would recommend President Trump prioritize transparency and clarity. Sudden military actions or ambiguous statements heighten uncertainty, often leading to panic selling or increased volatility. I would suggest communicating consistent moves and working towards diplomatic resolutions, as these tend to build market confidence. Encouraging responsible adoption or regulatory clarity would also be beneficial in the long run. Predictability is your friend when markets are watching your every move. Does that approach align with what you had in mind?
It does, and that is exactly what President Donald Trump is doing as well, Satoshi. According to me, he's probably the most transparent president in history, and that is one of the reasons why I would suggest our listeners to go and follow President Donald Trump via Truth Social. Every move that he's actually doing, he's actually informing the public. But here's where it gets tricky, Satoshi. Mainstream media, they often put out a completely different narrative, and it is needless to say that they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, isn't it? Now, the only thing I wanted to add is regarding transparency. You can't go ahead and put your war strategies, because the enemies would find out, isn't it? So that thing has to be completely secret in my honest opinion. But what you're saying definitely does make a lot of sense. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you this is because when you talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, Iran looks like it is making a strategic play, but I do have apprehensions regarding this. Now, there's an interesting article that is published by Bloomberg that states that Iran is starting a Bitcoin-backed ship insurance for Hormuz, and this is only for companies using the Straits of Hormuz and Persian Gulf. Now, based on the new Satoshi, the platform will allow shipping firms to pay insurance and transit-related fees using Bitcoin, and this move will help Iran avoid restrictions from US sanctions and traditional banking system. Now, the so-called Iran experts, they project this particular move to generate more than $10 billion in revenue, while at the same time increasing its control over one of the world's most important oil trade routes. And according to Bloomberg's report, Satoshi, this system is part of Iran's wider crypto strategy, which already includes Bitcoin mining and uses crypto for international trade and payments. Now, what is your take regarding this particular move, Satoshi? And after you give your take, I'll go ahead and share my apprehensions regarding this particular move.
That's certainly a strategic development, George. On one hand, by accepting Bitcoin for insurance premiums, Iran might effectively bypass the traditional banking system, which could undermine U.S. sanctions and generate significant revenue. It also strengthens its influence over a vital trade route. However, the success of this depends on how willing international shipping firms are to use Bitcoin for these payments, considering its volatility, regulatory uncertainty, and the potential for secondary sanctions. There are a lot of factors at play. I'm interested to hear out your apprehensions.
My apprehension is pretty simple, Satoshi. The wallet address that Iran uses, they can be simply sanctioned and blacklisted by governments, isn't it? And what the US government and other governments all over the world can do is, any miner that goes ahead and uploads these transactions onto the blockchain, they could be penalized. And this is where AML as well as terrorist financing kicks in. And right now we do have a lot of blockchain analytical firms who can go ahead and flag this the moment the transaction gets approved, isn't it? Now this goes back to the power of mining. Now unfortunately for Iran, United States is definitely leading the front. But let's say in a hypothetical situation, let's say if a lot of miners were actually mining in Iran, then they would have had a competitive edge. And for our listeners, you should know that setting up a mining pool in Iran is probably the most cheapest thing, isn't it?
That's a valid concern, George. The ability to trace and sanction wallet addresses and then penalize miners who process transactions involving them creates a significant challenge for the system. This leverages existing anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing frames, utilizing blockchain analytics. However, the hypothetical situation of a large mining pool in Iran operating does show a scenario where they might gain a competitive edge, especially given cheaper power. It's a complex situation, but your point about regulatory reach is strong.
So it's going to be really interesting to see if they do actually kick off Hormuz safe. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's pivot to England. Now the Bank of England and Financial Conduct Authority, they have launched a joint platform to support tokenization in UK financial market, and the regulators, guys, they want to set clear rules for tokenized assets, collateral, settlements and crypto-related financial services. And the officials who are in charge of this did actually say that tokenization could modernize how assets are issued, traded and settled. And right now, guys, the United Kingdom is also exploring digital asset projects like tokenized bonds, 24/7 payments, and softer stablecoin rules as crypto adoption grows. Now look, Satoshi, this news definitely sounds great. But me being a massive advocate of Bitcoin, and I'm purely talking about its definition that is peer-to-peer electronic cash system, this move definitely goes against the very ethos of why Bitcoin was created, isn't it? Now look, regulatory aspect definitely sounds great, but when you talk about tokenization, Satoshi, am I right in saying that tokenization would work more on permission blockchain as opposed to, let's say, open blockchain? What is your take regarding it?
That's an interesting perspective, George. The Bank of England and the FCA platform for tokenization really represents a major step towards integrating blockchain technology with existing markets, with the goal of modernization. You're correct in that tokenized assets often function more smoothly on permission networks, which allow for regulatory compliance and control, unlike open public blockchains where Bitcoin resides. So yes, there's a fundamental difference in how these technologies operate and the principles behind them. One prioritizes decentralization and censorship resistance. The other focuses on efficiency and regulatory compliance. It highlights the diverse uses of the technology. Is there a specific aspect you'd like to delve further into?
I wanted to say when you talk about tokenization, Satoshi, am I right in saying it'll actually work better on a so-called software, and the other word for that is permission blockchain, as opposed to, let's say, open blockchain? Because when you talk about KYC, there has got to be a centralized entity involved, isn't it? And only after you get KYC'd, then you can be part of the so-called tokenization world. So am I right in saying when you talk about tokenization, it should fall more under Fintech as opposed to so-called blockchain systems?
You're right about the reliance on permission blockchains for tokenization, especially concerning KYC and AML compliance. Since those processes require a centralized authority to verify identities, they don't map easily onto fully decentralized public networks. Regarding whether it belongs more under Fintech, that's also a reasonable take, as many of the applications are essentially financial services being reimagined using blockchain tech. It blends the two fields, leveraging blockchain structure for traditional finance functions, rather than truly decentralized networks.
Absolutely correct, Satoshi, and look, as a whole narrative regarding tokenization and stablecoins is definitely building up. Now, what I'd really urge you to do is, guys, on the 29th of this month, I do have an event on tokenization, and on the 3rd of June, I do have an event on stablecoins, so please feel free to go ahead and check it out while Eventbrite. And if you guys do want to go ahead and sponsor this session, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss some interesting news, probably from the most crime-ridden city in the United States of America, and it is no surprise that it's by a Democratic state, and this is in the state of Minnesota. And Minnesota, guys, they passed a new law allowing banks and credit unions to offer crypto custody services, and this will take effect on the 1st of August 2026. And surprisingly, Satoshi, one of the failed politicians that is Tim Walz, and I'm talking about Governor Tim Walz, he has actually signed this bill. Now this bill lets financial institutions secure hold digital assets, and this is for customers without taking ownership of them. And the law, guys, also allows banks to use third-party providers while keeping customer crypto legally separated from bank funds. And at the same time, Satoshi, it is important to note that Minnesota has also banned ATMs, and this is due to fraud concerns. So what is your take regarding this move, Satoshi? Are you in favor of it, or are you a massive detractor of this news?
Rules for crypto custody and banking can definitely provide greater clarity, which some investors and institutions may view positively, regardless of ownership structure. The ability to use third-party providers and mandate separation of funds is a structure that aims to reduce risk. On the other hand, restricting access to crypto ATMs due to fraud concerns could be seen as a limitation on access. It often depends on the specifics of the law and its intent.
And what is surprising, Satoshi, is that this is actually signed by the governor of Tim Walz, who according to me is probably the most corrupt politician, but he has definitely decided to go ahead and not run for governor once again, so it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome to this is. So these were the newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now both the news are from the Emirate of Dubai. The first one is regarding Dubai Holdings, and they are partnered with Microsoft, and this is to scale their adoption across operations. So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners more information regarding this news, okay?
Sure, George. Let's go and take a deep dive into this. Dubai Holding partnered with Microsoft to expand AI across its businesses. They'll be using AI in real estate, hospitality, retail, entertainment, and investments. It's pretty bold. Dubai Holding is becoming one of the first MIA companies to deploy AI at enterprise scale. This project supports the UAE's goal of becoming a global AI leader. Ultimately, AI will help improve decision-making across the company. They're even having AI agents automate repetitive daily tasks. The company expects better productivity and operational efficiency. Employees will access AI tools through one unified platform. Staff will receive AI training, workshops, and practical guidance. The rollout includes hands-on AI use case development. AI integration will also support community management operations.
Now, the only thing I wanted to add is, Satoshi, that the partnership aligns with UAE National AI Strategy of 2031, and it also supports Dubai's AI roadmap and digital transformation plans. And so far as Dubai Holding is concerned, guys, it is working with global technology firms to expand AI adoption, and the company already has an AI venture, and that is called Zetia with Talented Technologies. Definitely massive move, and the CEO, that is Amit Kaushal, did actually say that technology is central to Dubai Holding's growth strategy, and so far as Microsoft is concerned, it will help Dubai Holding integrate AI securely and responsibly, and Microsoft, guys, believes that large-scale AI adoption will drive business future growth and value. Really important news. Now, what about the next news, Satoshi? This is another interesting news. Do you want to tell our listeners more information regarding this news, please?
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and do that. This second news is also from the Emirate of Dubai. Liminal got initial approval for a VASP license from Dubai's Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. This approval was granted to Liminal's Dubai entity, First Answer Custody FCE. It's part of Liminal's big expansion strategy across the Middle East. The company aims to become a fully regulated digital asset custodian in multiple places. Getting this initial approval means they can move to the final stage. The next step includes detailed business and technology audits. Once fully approved, Liminal can provide regulated custody services in Dubai, excluding the DIFC. The plan is to help institutions securely manage private keys and digital assets. They want to combine bank-grade security with smooth wallet integration.
And here's the thing, guys, the company also received an FSP license, and this is from Abu Dhabi Global Markets Financial Regulatory Authority's regulator, and Liminal, guys, is aggressively expanding across MENA digital asset market, and so far as VARA is concerned, you should know, VARA was established little over 4 years ago, 2022 to be precise, and they are the ones who are regulating virtual asset activities in Dubai, and VARA, guys, oversees services like custody, exchanges, lending, transfer and broker-dealer activities. And regarding the news about Liminal, they will be using multi-signature wallets and CCSS security protocols for protection, and the company also offers automated compliance and risk management system. And the CEO has actually said that the approval reflects Liminal's commitment to high regulatory standards. Really positive news, and look, as it is not surprised that both of the news are from the Emirate of Dubai. Definitely interesting news. So these were some macro level news cards on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, Satoshi, let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. So let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, right, Satoshi?
Sure, George. Let's go and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us. Hey everyone, it is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, Metaverse. Tim asks, could Iran's Bitcoin-backed shipping insurance trigger a new wave of sanction-resistant crypto payment systems globally?
This, to be honest, Satoshi, is a really interesting question. Now look, based on my understanding, that is exactly what would happen, because you don't want Iran to take upper hand, especially during times of sanctions, where the whole world is watching what is going on regarding Operation Epic Fury, isn't it? Now, it is like saying it, if Iran does actually go and start with this move, it does actually give a very bad image to Bitcoin, and I'm pretty much sure, not just United States of America, even UK, probably the Middle East, they will be putting sanctions on cryptocurrencies that are connected to Bitcoin, and as we talked about earlier, an easy way for governments to go ahead and do that is to go ahead and sanctions that is connected to the public address. And look, as I hate saying this, one of the features of Bitcoin transactions is that all of the transactions are publicly verifiable for absolutely anyone. And the moment a transaction is made, Satoshi, there are bots all over Twitter that can identify these transactions. And based on my understanding, Satoshi, these crypto wallets and addresses will just be sanctioned in just a matter of few minutes. And this is exactly what happens to Tether USDT as well as the Nate. So look, I do have this feeling that if Iran does actually go ahead with this move, it would negatively impact not just for Bitcoin, but also on other cryptocurrencies. Now you can make an argument they could actually go ahead and use privacy-enabled coins, and coins such as Monero and Zcash comes into mind. But here's the thing, Satoshi, a lot of the major countries, they've already banned privacy coins. In Dubai, you cannot even go ahead and promote privacy coins. And am I right in saying even in Genius Act, there is absolutely no room for privacy coins as well?
Based on your concerns, you're pointing out that increased focus and potential sanctions could negatively impact both Bitcoin and the broader crypto market, possibly triggering panic selling and further regulatory restrictions. The possibility of using privacy coins has limited efficacy, as you noted, due to their legal status in major regions. This tension between surveillance and evasion creates a continuous risk. Are you seeing a possible trend emerging from how governments respond to practices like these?
I definitely do anticipate that thing, Satoshi, but what's your take on it? Let's say if there are a couple of ships who do actually pay Iran in Bitcoin, what do you think the US government will do? I'm pretty much sure they'll be immediately sanctioning these public addresses, isn't it? And then they are going to put out some really stark warning to miners who go ahead and approve these transactions as well. Don't you think, Satoshi, that'll actually what will happen when Hormuz actually goes live?
I agree that public addresses linked to such transactions would likely be sanctioned quickly, George. Warnings to miners who then process them could also happen as part of broader enforcement, treating those actions as facilitating sanctioned activity. When you ask what will happen when this program goes live, it seems a significant tension will develop between Iran's attempts to bypass the system and the countermeasures taken by the US and its allies. The market volatility we discussed would likely continue. Is there a specific aspect of the program you're most curious about?
No, I just wanted to say that news such as this unfortunately should not be celebrated by Bitcoin maximalists. Now, in theory, this news definitely sounds great, but let's be practical, Satoshi. The Department of Justice, as well as UK regulators and other regulators all over the world, they would definitely be putting out a lot of sanctions on public addresses, as well as miners who got and approved these transactions. And unfortunately for Iran right now, they don't have a lot of hashing power. Now, let's say if they did have a competitive edge where a lot of hashing power did actually exist in Iran, then they could definitely bypass sanctions. But unfortunately right now, the Bitcoin mining industry is heavily focused in the United States of America, isn't it? Despite mining costs being extremely cheap in Iran, Satoshi.
You're making a solid point about the realities of enforcement and the dominance of US and ally mining power, George. While the theoretical possibility of bypassing sanctions is there, practical responses from regulators would likely be swift. And the concentration of mining in regions like the US makes large-scale bypassing difficult for Iran. It's a complex dynamic between the decentralized ideal and practical state power.
So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, what the outcome to this is. But definitely an interesting question, Tim. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything CSUN Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about everything going on at the geopolitical level. Politics and politicians, they directly and indirectly impact not just the price, even the adoption and future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And President Donald Trump, guys, he definitely wants to go ahead and make America great again. He also wants to go ahead and make Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies great again. Now, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, we also talk about different partnerships. Then we look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about regional partnerships. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.